那玩这个不准播出，它有点像是在电视公司上班吧，然后不是上班啦，模拟啊，然后你是一个就是画面就是切，就是有点可能要调整音量或者是画面的转切吧的概念，然后它主要其实就是看它一些就是它影集之类的吧，然后我只是做一个小小的操作，可能就是要对到他想要的内容这样。开始吧。天数一神级。好，现在是新手教学右转。接电话。
Listen, I know you've only come in to clean up the place, but I've got a bit caught up, so you're gonna have to run the news tonight. Now, don't worry, it's not hard, and I'm gonna stay on the phone and help you. First, I'm gonna give you a
原本我们只是一个打扫的，但因为他负责人没来，所以变成我们要协助这样。
Right, look up at the top. That coloured bar is your audience. You want to keep the viewers going up and not down. Underneath that, you've got the screens. The one on the right is the broadcast screen. That's what the viewers are seeing at home. It's only a couple of seconds behind the master screen there in the middle. That's the one you control. Now, the four small screens on the left show the different signals coming from the studio, and you can choose between them using the numbered buttons on the vision mixer at the bottom left. Don't worry, I'll talk you through it and you'll pick it up in no time. Now, have a look to your left.
他先看你的左边，左转。
Control everything in the studio. I've left them set up for you, so provided you haven't fiddled with them, all you have to do now is throw the master trip switch and we're in business. Once you've got the power on, face the front.
现在是没电的，所以要启动。
You can see on the broadcast screen that we're in the end titles for the show before us. Fortunately, they go on for fucking ages, so there's plenty of time for me to explain. Oh, right, okay, they're over, so we haven't got long now till the broadcast. Right, quickly, mate, look down under the desk. You can see a load of videotapes on the left. They're your adverts. Pick any three and load them into the machines on the right. When you've done that, look up to the front again.
好老旧的录影带。
Right, won't be long now till the signal starts coming through from the station. Stay on your toes. All the bigwigs are in tonight because of the election, so we better not make any mistakes. When you get the signal, select screen 1 with the vision mixer and we're ready to go.
Prawn and mayonnaise?
You know seafood makes me go out in pustules.
Yeah, I thought it might increase our viewing figures.
Every day. You offer me prawns every day.
10 seconds, everybody. That's how I show love.
You're trying to kill me.
And yet you persist. Going in 5, 4.
But now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight.
Okay, we're all good. Next is going to be the throw to the news titles on screen 2. There'll be a countdown, but I'll count you in as well. Just relax, mate. It's all gravy.
Buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent and corners the flowered market. Top chat. Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Hamsley wins Sports Personality of the Year. And a spoonful of sugar. Megan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch about his new movie, The Medicated. And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance Headquarters to hear what the leaders of this festival have to say on their historic.
Right, button 2 in 3, 2, bit early there, mate. Next thing is Jeremy with button 1 when that globe in the middle shrinks down and vanishes. Switch to screen 1 now. Lovely, mate.
The votes are in, and it's a decisive win for Advance. The landslide.
Listen, mate, we often get a bit of interference around this time of night, so keep your eye on the machine on the bottom right. You can move that white dot up and up, down, avoiding the
这是什么东西？
yellow knob.
哦，这是要闪，这是小游戏吧？
policies and of being deliberately vague. The opposition parties have all conceded defeat to Advance's overwhelming mandate, but have yet to appear publicly. However,
Right, it's going well. All you've got to do now is play the advert at the end of the segment. Make sure you don't play it too early or we'll all get fired. Now the clock at the top is counting you down to the advert. When it reaches 0, press one of the 3 play ad buttons over there at the bottom right. I normally play the first one at the first break and so on, but you can play them in any order you want. I'll count you into it as well, but keep your eye on the clock.
we'll be going live to Advance HQ to hear the co-leader's acceptance speech.
And 3,
That's all coming
2,
up.
1, advert.
1 minute back, everybody.
Jeremy, I need you to fill after the ads.
What? Why?
Wanker Snatch is running late.
Oh,
I thought I'd ask him about the election.
personally, I wouldn't try to confuse him with any big words.
That's the same policy we use with you.
I thought that was our little secret.
这有点像在看影集吧？
I'm deeply
应该说
uncomfortable.
看搞笑的部分。
Wicked, we made it to the first ad break. You're doing great, mate. But this is where it starts getting a bit trickier. This next sequence is what we call a multicam sequence because you're going to be cutting between multiple cameras to keep things interesting. A lot of it's down to personal taste, but here's 3 good rules of thumb. 1. Try and keep the shot on whoever is doing the talking. 2. Don't stay on the same shot for too long. 10 seconds at the most. So if you're on the person who's talking, try and throw in the odd reaction shot or pull out to the wide shot for a bit just to keep it interesting. 3. Don't stay on reaction shots for too long. A couple of seconds is usually enough. Then the audience want to see who's doing the talking, yeah? Stick to these rules and you'll be fine. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You've seen programs on television, haven't you? Make it look like those. Might as well get screen 1 selected now. No need to wait for the broadcast to start. Try and stay ahead, mate.
From the break. Quiet in the studio.
Thank you so much.
10 seconds, everybody.
什么？我还没准备好哎。他刚刚讲什么？
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance. But first
Get
off,
ready to go to Megan on screen 4.
Megan Wolf is here with a star of both stage and the screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolf, culture correspondent. And today I have a guest who starred in everything from Shakespeare
Right,
to
go
the
to
Shopbox
Blunderclatch
film.
on screen 3 when she says his
Joined
name.
today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear, I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you here today is among...
Switch to 2 for the wide now.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Right, now just try and
So
stay
you've
on
just
whoever's
finished filming
talking.
your latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter at the Rat, that's Peter Jensen, the director. Do you know him?
完全对不上。
Really is. I've worked with him on several movies, all terribly successful. I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. What a wild ride this has been. I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
What exactly are you implying? But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that that was the true story of one soldier's fight for a love that surpasses all others. A love, of course.
Been on that shot a bit long.
I think it's grossed over $1 billion.
Remember the 10-second rule.
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor
哦哦，我
awards,
懂
if
了
I，remember correctly.
不能停太久。
But I really am not in it
Get back
for
to
the
who's
awards.
talking.
Those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
That is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding, giving, suffering for one's audience. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire. I do it for the little people. But most of all, I think I do it for the positive change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result. Indeed. Historic is the word. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But, I think I've always been quite clear that when it comes to politics, one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Shit, he swore. Oh, well, don't worry, he won't do it again.
Sorry, I said fuck.
Shit, he did it again. Okay, don't panic. I'll explain how to deal with swearing at the break.
Medicated, which opens next week.
I've swapped the shot of Jeremy on screen 1 for a VT of the movie clip. You'll get a countdown on the screen, but I'll just let Megan cue you in.
倒数哪边啊？
Dr. Lod's Hemlock is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look.
其实左边有那个，
Interference, mate.
那左边是他们现场的那个，就是状况，幕前与幕后的感觉。
I'd love to hear what he's saying, but don't switch to it now. You can go to the archive when the broadcast's done. We keep everything.
I don't know that.
失控了。
No, Lance, we mustn't.
Dr. Lance to you, Miss Flanagan.
就他们自己在聊天呢。
All for you.
Dr. Hemlock.
I'm gonna change the world, you know? Go ahead, listen to me.
Dr. Hemlock.
You told me, but I didn't listen.
Doctor,
I'm drowning, Lance, you said.
you need to see this.
No, it's all too late.
Look at this!
现在播的这是什么东西？这个是广告吗？ 病毒。
This is the key.
Stop it all.
At the end of the clip, you'll want to play another ad. Remember to use the clock at the top to count you in.
顶部的时钟计算是什么？ 是这个吗？哦，
Right, I guess I better explain how to deal with bleeping.
要遮掉那个哔哔哔的声音。
Notice the broadcast screen here is about 2 seconds behind the master screen here. When someone says a naughty word, the bleep button lights up like this. 2 seconds later, you'll hear that swear word going out on the broadcast, and you need to hold down the bleep button
空格
or the
键
spacebar on your keyboard for as long as the swear word lasts. It can take a bit of
同时
practice
听
getting
到
used
这
to
个太
hearing
高
two things at
要
once.
反应了
Just
吧？
stay calm and you'll get it. And if you can't tell when to bleep, just above the button, you'll literally be able to see the sound scrolling by. All you gotta do is hold it down while the red bit is over the red line. Simple. Of course, if you do it by eye, you
Oh.
have to take your eye off the screen.
Okay.
That's why real professionals do it by ear. Most people like to have the volume of the broadcast screen a little bit below the master screen. Let's set it now.
这个要干嘛？
As you turn it up, you'll hear the advert getting louder. Good. You're set to start censoring. Like I say, it takes a little practice, but I'll try and help you through it, and soon we'll have you bleeping like a pro. Remember, button lights up, count 1, 2, and hold
Only
it down.
85 minutes from the coast, and with more than 2 areas of outstanding
这样干嘛
national interest.
重
Isn't
玩
it time your family
Remember to select screen 1 now that you've got the feed. Don't wait for the broadcast to go live. That's too late. You can use the number buttons on your keyboard, 1 to 4.
Running the country. Seriously?
We've had worse. 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to advance headquarters. And I'm told we can now go live to advance headquarters. Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury are about to make their acceptance address.
Cut to the outside broadcast.
Go for it, Pet.
Shall I start?
Get ready to
Go
play.
for it, Pet.
Thank you all for coming, and, well, thank you all
Where
for
do
coming,
I
and, well, what
Where
a
do I
day.
start?
They said we
What a
couldn't do
day.
it.
对了，这样还可以吗？
Every dirty low-down lying
Every
southern
dirty
bastard
low-down
trick they had against us. But you,
Oh, okay, okay.
you saw right through that. You saw
I'm
right
sorry about the
through
language
that.
there.
Sorry
about the
that. I've had a
language
couple
there.
of celebrations. Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebrations. Coarser than the ground is funny. Coarser than the
哎，靠背，
Memorably. But to be honest, who can blame Peter for celebrating?
乱切。
Throughout the campaign, you heard us say that advance are not a political party. Advance are not a political party. When things are going well. A party is what you have when things are going well. Suffering. You don't need a party. When the country is
啊，我懂了
you don't need a，
靠背。
team that can change things. But today is day one of a new future. A better, fairer future.
哦，我懂了 ，OK， 那广告的时候才要推那个吧。
Except for the rich. For them, the party's over. They shouldn't be celebrating. They should be putting their shitting pants on and opening their dusty checkbooks.
Again, colourfully put, but not inaccurate. Before we came out here to address the nation, we used our executive powers to pass the Assets and Wealth Act. Working with the tax office, we have produced a definitive list of every person in the country with wealth into the millions.
You know this sort of. Probably you rather you don't. Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated communities.
Tomorrow, we will be introducing a sweeping reform of the tax system in this country. No more hiding wealth offshore, no more trust funds or creative accounting. A simpler, fairer, unavoidable set of tax laws.
So, all you bastard public school snobs have got nowhere to hide. And earlier today, we revoked your passports. You want them back? You want to leave like you threatened before the election? That's fine. But first, you're going to pay up. You're going to pay back.
Advance are going to turn this country from a nation of warring individuals into a team. To properly fund health and education. To raise the living standards of us all.
The pundits said we'd have to raise billions. But you'll see when we've reclaimed what's ours, that's absolute ferret shite. So to you posh twats.
The people who pay you a pittance to serve them drinks in their private clubs. The people whose children you raise.
So they've got time to get even fucking richer.
Advance have this to say to you. We
要切的时候再叫他们鼻音，真的是。
and your vineyards.
It ends today.
We will put the wealth of this country back where it should have always been. In the hands of the people who created it.
It ends today.
Yes, it ends today. And tomorrow, we'll start making it fair again. Just like we promised we would.
And until then, ladies and gents, I suggest we all get pissed.
I can't argue with that. Thank you for your time.
Well, an interesting acceptance speech there from the leaders of Advance. And our apologies for the fruity language. Hopefully we got that bleeped out for you in time. If not, someone's going to be in trouble. So, as the country braces itself for a new government, that's all from us this evening at the National Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow with full coverage of the first day under Advance. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
Right, looks like you've got it now. Thanks for the help, mate. I've got it. Jerry's about to leave. Probably won't be coming back. Job's yours, mate. Good luck.
Same old boring politics then.
Is this some weird...
对啊，好多看不懂。
I'm dying now or something.
It's the story of you and how you're stupid and asleep. It's about how you were promised the Elysian fields, but you ended up filleting Satan for the salty crumbs. It's
哦，大概可以理解。A B 后面比较烂一点 ，D 还有资金呢，这资金是要来干嘛？
Alright, mate, I've left you a voicemail. I thought you'd end up here. Most people come into the archive room when they're done with a broadcast.
归档式就是可以让你重玩吧？
How it looked to the
是
public.
吗？
As you can see, there's 3 sections to the archive. Broadcasts, that's what you've put out. Rushes, which is all the stuff that was on all the screens. And adverts, which is any advert that you've So let's have a look at the broadcasts. Okay, on the left you can see all the broadcasts that you've done. You can also get to hear from the main menu if you don't actually want to do a broadcast, you just want to see some of your past work. Select
这应该是指的是自己当下的那个设定的那些内容吧，我觉得没有必要吧，还是他逼我一定要看。
In a few moments, we'll be going live to tonight's national nightly news.
Right, click on rushes and let's have a look at
样片。
Okay, these 4 screens, they're exactly the same as the 4 screens that feed you the studio signal when you're doing the actual news. Of course, the difference here is you can mute any screen you like or any combination of screens, and you can have a listen.
这应该都是回看而已吧。
Just select any segment, that's any bit between ad breaks over on the left, and hit
哦，对啊。
These aren't my cards, please.
checking out the backstage secrets, hit back.
继续。怎么又是啊？天数2哦3。团队想要了解你，你十分好奇，便打开它。姓名、配偶、新的工作，这是什么基本问卷吗？邀请你会放松。这到底是什么？特殊的家事。他要借我你的护照。啊，他这个其他的时候是用事件在，有点像是在跑你的过程吧，然后正职再回到工作。后果。嘣！又来了，你又变代班了。接4个插头，4个插头。那有风扇，风扇不要吧。这是什么东西啊？开始播放吗？这玩具安，爱的抱抱，这是什么东西？是一直不能播吗？视觉混合器，这是新的内容，是不是？ 倒数。What?
But if you don't make any decision, you'll be fired before you even get to make another choice. I just want to say one more thing, mate. The pictures you choose to show of these people, well, that's how the public is going to perceive them, and that's going to affect their lives. So, like with the adverts, choose carefully. And we're off. Alright, mate, if I get time, I'll get back in the next break. Yeah, I'm coming, darling.
Finally tonight at 10 p.m, it's a bit of escapism with Lawrence Blunderclatch's acclaimed action movie, Bullet Man, taking us up to the National Weather Report and close down at midnight. But before all that, it's time to go over to Jeremy Donaldson for tonight's National Nightly News.
I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main
没有切好。
destination unknown. At the end of Advance's first full week in office, we ask exactly who's leading this charge.
这是什么意思？
Tonight,
要按
I'll be
吗？
discussing what the new future might hold with a leading economist and radical free thinker. With the Assets and Wealth Act on the brink of raising living standards for the vast majority of the country, I'll be asking my guess if we're on the way to a new future. Out with the old, Remington's Fist have appointed Sophia Remington as their new CEO. The following photo, taken from our archive, gives us a sense of this influential young firebrand who, at the tender age of
是给他正面形象，右边根本就只是
in history. Sophia Remington has always impressed.
他的 B 完全是要搞他吧？选的那个画面。
The markets have responded favorably to Sophia's appointment, with stocks rising 30 points in light of the announcement. In her first press conference this afternoon, Sophia announced a children's toy named Mr. Snugglehugs. Sophia promises it'll be all the rage this Christmas, but concerns have been raised about the product's
爱的包包是 B。
making a splash. Intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and marine biologist Ingrid Svalsborg-Horgensford have today set off to explore Dante's taint. The recently discovered cave system was previously thought
左右边是互相比较，左边是那个大家一起努力，所以按照他的剧情的观点，应该是要选 A 吧。
This is, of course, only the latest in a series of successful expeditions for this unlikely pairing. In a joint statement about the dangers their team might
那完全就是在，
we will
就
face
是
the
你
plentiful
对
challenges
图
together,
片
like
想要表达出来的那种感觉，是不是符合他正在讲的这件事情？
The footballer was caught while out celebrating being named Sports Personality of the Year last
靠背是 B， 全部都是在搞人的。
Johnny is seen here with socialite and performance artist Tiffany Lamore, whose recent show, Snatched Inside My Snatch, has kept her firmly in the public eye. Could romance be on the cards for these two budding A-listers? And Griever's bodily charm. With Advance promising a radical new position on crime, how afraid should we actually be? I'll be going live around the country to talk with people who've seen the criminal justice system from every perspective. With more and more powers passing to the police, and less oversight, are we using an Advance-shaped sledgehammer to crack a nut? All that, a mega morph with a group of young actors already experiencing the positive side of the new Assets and Wealth Act firsthand.
哎呦，它下面的数字突然变，它会随时切。
That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
它是 live 的，OK。哎，啊，超赛！我看到了，慢了。
In the wake of the government's swift enactment of the Assets and Wealth Act, we're talking about Advance's first week in office and what the new future holds. Joining me are Katie Brightman, a leading economist, and Alan James, author of Alan James is Right, The Free Man's Guide to...
那到底是哪一个？
Alan, the government certainly haven't dragged their heels on delivering some of the legislation they promised. But what does the Wealth Act mean for us?
Nothing, Jeremy. We're still vassal slaves, we're just in prettier cages.
A confident dismissal there. Katie Brightman, do you agree?
I'm afraid I don't, no. I think that Advance have realised that the current economic system of unlimited, unending growth is untenable, so they're changing things up.
There I agree with you. They're moving to the next steps in the grand plan.
Grand plan, Alan?
It's all in my book. Alan James is right, Jeremy. We're to become the great herd, ignorant, sterile, and short-lived. That's what they want.
Or perhaps Advance have just realised that if we carry on the way we are, we will destroy ourselves and this planet. An orgy of consumption, if you'll excuse the colourful metaphor.
Yes, orgy is the right word. Only it'll be the overlords having an orgy on our poor broken backs. It's all in my book. Alan James is...
Shamelessly self-promoting? Katie, how do you think the rest of the world will respond to this new approach?
I think they're watching carefully. Advance are the most disruptive threat that the world powers have faced since the last Great War.
Yes, Katie's right.
其实我也想看他在讲什么，所以害我要专注的看他，可是又要切，所以很混乱。
Out of the wrong orifices?
Mock me all you like, Jeremy, but when they murder your parents and they poison your food and they take you away to their camps for hypno-brainwashing, we'll be laughing then.
That might be a great way to sell books, Alan, but you know full well that isn't going to happen in a democracy.
Democracy is dead.
Yes, Advance are radical, and change is always frightening, but the truth is that the Wealth and Assets Act has made more than 90% of the population wealthier and is on target to produce a permanent end to poverty.
Bollocks! What this young lady doesn't understand, Jeremy, is that these are the same people. Maybe they've rebranded, but it's all a little circus act to keep us from seeing the tyrant behind the curtain.
That's where you're wrong, Alan. For a start, they've mobilised the youth vote like we've never seen before.
You say mobilise, I call it grooming. The grooming of an entire generation to walk happily into eternal bondage like psychic paedophiles.
But based on the facts, Katie, what are your predictions?
The Assets and Wealth Act is only the first step. Advance now have a historic budgetary surplus, and as well as properly funding our public services, they're already funneling unprecedented amounts into scientific research and the arts.
Or, as I call them in my book,
根本就是来打输的吗？
Like opiates, see?
Can we get back to the issue at hand, please, Alan?
This is the issue. It's all coming from the water, the chemicals, they're pumping it full of belief juice.
Don't get me wrong, I want to see these changes, but only if they're sustainable. If Advance lose their power after spending half of our GDP on dismantling infrastructure, that could be catastrophic.
The catastrophe is that they're succeeding. They've got us sat here talking about their puppet show.
All right, we're running out of time. Quickly, Alan, what does the future look like to you?
A bleak space where we've all been figuratively sodomized into submission.
No, of course. Katie?
We might be on the eve of a brave new world. God knows we need some change, but we need to be cautious. Let's walk forwards with our eyes open.
Two very different visions of the future there. Alan James, Katie Brightman, thank you for joining me. When we come back, I'll be investigating law and order before Megan meets some beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act. That's all coming up tonight on the National Nightly News.
1 minute back.
他们果然最后吵架了。
And his incredible real action eyes.
时段逼啊，没关系，就是顺着玩就好，没有太差。这还蛮累，不是应该不是蛮累的，是你自己也要看的，就是他在讲什么话，会很尴尬，就是没办法，就变成要一心二用，要随时注意，这样要蛮厉害才有办法可以同时进行吧。
In our second segment, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the state of law and order in our country. Advance have already tasked what they are calling a solutions team to move this serious social problem to the top of the list. Tonight, we go behind the headlines to meet the people who live with the criminal justice system every day of their lives. First up, we have Gregory Judge, a lawyer who sees the problems close up on the front line. Can you hear me, Gregory?
Yes, I've got you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
What's it like on the front line of the hard face of the cold hand of justice?
Well, as you can imagine, Jeremy, we are massively understaffed in this country. We're working every hour we can just to try and cope with the caseloads on our desks.
Which must affect the quality of support you can offer.
Well, we can barely keep up with demand, Jeremy. There just simply isn't enough
后面那个是干嘛
to relieve the problem. We need more support from ministers. We need change at a structural level,
I'm
Jeremy.
leaving, Greg.
Time, darling.
It never is it? I'll be at my mother's.
Just hang on. The problem isn't a local one, Jeremy. It's nationwide. Just give me.
要跑了，你老婆要跑走是不是？
No. Well, the affairs of the Justice Department that we should be concerned about.
Hello, Mr. Donaldson.
Hello, Mrs. Judge.
We need.
我还帮他接
legislation to relieve the pressure on our public
Sorry
servants.
to interrupt the news, Mr. Donaldson. Can I have a moment to tell my husband I'm leaving him?
Yes, I totally understand. Quite the picture of a burdened legal sector there. Gregory Judge, thank you for joining us. Next, I'm joined by Police Chief Constable Bob Peel, a man with a very different perspective on our nation's crime. Do you think there's a problem with the system, Bob?
I'm sure we all do, Jeremy. I'm sure we all long for a return to the days when you could safely walk the streets of your community at night, looking in through windows and generally enjoying your neighbours without the risk of being terrorised by some thug with a knife. Or kosh.
So you feel the streets simply aren't safe anymore? Where have we gone wrong?
忘了切回来。
Well, that's not a simple question, Jeremy, but I think it comes down to moral decay. We've diluted our culture and lost touch with what it means to be a citizen of this once great country. Also, as the vicar noted in Sunday's sermon, we probably shouldn't have banned hanging.
And to what do you attribute this moral decay?
Foreigners, gays and gypsies mainly. It's all in the Bible. Look, Leviticus clearly states...
又来了。
Bugger, hang on a moment. Jeremy, bloody gimps escaped. Delia, could you give me a little help, please, dear? As I was saying...
那个在干嘛？
And just to be clear, you think it's the immigrants who are responsible for the moral decay?
Absolutely, Jeremy. Back in your box, Clive. Back in your box. Delia, I really could use a little help with this.
Oh, sorry, darling. I was spaying the badgers.
Yes, I'm talking to Jeremy Donaldson. Clive, could you put him back in his box?
Oh, Clive, you know it's Wednesday. Look, back in your gimp space.
And whose responsibility is it to make a change, Bob?
Well, it is certainly not the responsibility of the decent, good, white people of this...
Where's the padlock?
Oh, hold on just a moment.
Oh, Clive, this simply won't do. Not even...
直接上 S， 裤子们都被看光了。
As I was saying, Jeremy, moral decay. Crime is the responsibility of the criminal, no one else. Look, everyone has a sob story, but we don't all end up as barbarians, do we? Look, when our daughter Alice comes home with an A-, does she go on a killing spree? No, she takes 3 of her pills and hides under the stairs like a normal child.
Thank you, Bob. Bob Peel there, really locking down the police's position on morality, folks. And finally tonight, hopefully uninterrupted, it's time to get to the heart of the matter. Tony Dawson has recently been released from prison after serving 3 years for aggravated assault, burglary, and menacing assault. He's agreed to talk to us today.
然后后面这个声音好小声。
Many happy returns, Tony.
Cheers, Jez. Call me Titwank Tony. Everybody else does.
No, I'm not going to be doing that. Can you tell us what it's like in prison, Tony?
Titwank Tony. Prison's a mixed bag.
没按到。
Structure's quite nice, but it's a constant battle against institutionalization, as you can imagine. And obviously, Titwanks are quite hard to come by.
I'm picking up that you're not alone there, Tony.
Titwank Tony. Yeah, sorry, my friends are throwing me a surprise party. Good bunch of lads.
Okay, well, we're trying to let you get back to that party as soon as possible. First, let me ask you
Ah, 切错。
Do you feel that your time spent in prison helped to rehabilitate you in any way, Tony?
Titwank Tony. I don't think it's as easy as that, Jez. I think asking that is an oversimplification.
It sounds like it's getting quite busy there, Tony, but let's try and soldier on. Since leaving custody, have you been able to find a new job?
Yeah, all the boys are here. Big Chris, Little Chris, and Vampire Chris.
在冲啥？
One sec, love. Titwank Tony's on the loose. Rehabilitation's difficult with the current system, Jez. It's just not set up for it, you know? It's inherently unjust.
到底有多少个人？
So, do you feel tempted to... I'm sorry, who's this now?
You are joking. Chrissy Free Bollocks has only got Mr. Fancy, oh.
It was.
What now, fellas? I'm on the news.
It seems like we've caught you at a bad time.
Oh, I can't really hear you, mate. It's getting a bit busy here.
Jesus.
Yes, we seem to be losing the signal here, Tony.
Fucking way, Las Bolitas!
Well, we're just trying to get that signal back. I think we... Yes, Tony? Tony, I mean, we were literally away for 2 seconds. How has this happened, Tony? Can you hear me? Well, we seem to have lost our train of thought there a little. Hopefully you, the viewer,
赶快切回来。
in a broader understanding of the serious and complex issues around law and order. After the break, Megan will be live with some lucky young thespians. Don't go away. We'll be back after these messages.
Our children. Mate, I ain't got long and I'm quite drunk. It's been a great night. In this next section, there's a bit of music. If you edit in time with the music, you can
编
see
辑
the
音
result
乐
on the vision mixer, and the public will love that. Don't worry if you don't know, you won't get punished for it or nothing. Just try and stay in the groove. Also, one last tip: when the music starts, turn down the broadcast volume. Right, enjoy the music bit. God, I love music. God, I'm so pissed. I think I might go and throw up in a bit.
With the Go-Getters, you can be sure that your children will be well equipped in the march towards progress. After all, there's nothing better
对，要切第几个啊？
moving forwards. The advanced Go-Getters. Forwards together.
Welcome Black. I'm Megan Wolf, and on tonight's
哎，
Culture
错了。
Spot, I'll be chatting with one of the first beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act, a team of inspiring young people from Scritchford Sixth Form College, who today received a grant from Advance to take their play, Hey, Friendship, on a tour of local secondary schools. Welcome to you all. Well, let's start with you two, Harriet and Charlotte Winstanley-Hamilton. Girls, you must be thrilled.
We are, Megan. We're overwhelmed, to be honest.
And I believe you two are sisters, is that right? Yes, Charlotte's my oldest.
I'm the older, more popular one. Only joking.
Harriet and Trey were really the ones who came up with the whole idea.
So, Harry and I were shooting the breeze in the cafeteria, and I said, hey, let's actually do something.
So I went to look for a drama teacher.
But she'd been laid off due to budget cuts. Fortunately, I directed a pantomime when I was at university, so I knew the ropes, as it were.
Right, yes, but you're the maths teacher, aren't you?
Yes, that's me, Jeff Algebra, maths teacher.
Maths is really important.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
As is theatre. It's one of the oldest art forms in history. Aristotle
I
believed.
just think that when we travel around all these problem schools and the poor kids see us, they say, hey, I really want to be like those attractive kids. And that's a very beautiful and powerful thing. We touch our audiences and they touch us right back.
I suppose with a surname like Algebra, there was really only one choice of career for me. My wife, Angela, and I.
他那个断掉之后，那个有点像加分，那个就断了。
We just want to bring a bit of song and joy into people's lives.
And teach people about the difficult issues. The issues in the play are what really matter. And I think you're going to be showing us an extract from this play, aren't you?
Yeah. That's right. To put into context, I play a young first year who's having some troubles at school.
Her character doesn't actually have a name, yeah? Because, in a way, she's like all of us.
It's like a metaphor. Maybe she's you at home, or like, maybe she's you, Megan.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Put it in, coach.
Yes, thanks, Steve.
为什么最后编的那个一直重复？
Teacher, while you run off and get ready, I can't wait to see it. That's it. That way.
你错了。
So, Jeff, when did you first hear about grants?
啊，那是准备期。
A letter from Advance arrived.
切错了。
The headmaster thought it was all a prank, but his secretary retrieved it from his bin and brought it to me.
How? How did you react?
I also threw it in the bin. But then Harriet and Trey rescued it, and they rang the number at the bottom of the page, and next thing you know, we're on tour.
Wow. Well, I think we can all guess which way you'll be voting from now on.
Do you know what? It's funny because Angela and I don't usually vote. We're not very political. I'm a mathematician, of course.
我一直想要看他们在干嘛，那个准备期间。
Watched that Peter Clements DIY show back in the day, and so we thought, why not? Let's have a go at this whole democracy thing.
Okay.
And here we bally well are.
Good stuff.
Fucking brilliant.
So let's have a look at a short section of Hey, Friendship.
哎，错了。
Dear diary.
这到底要怎么切？
Another day at this school. Another day of tears. Another day of fears. But still I walk the corridors alone. Dreading what might be around every corner.
What's around the corner? What's around the corner? What's around the corner?
这到底在干嘛？
Heavens no! It's Gary the Fist!
Gary the Fist!
Going somewhere, little first year.
我真的不知道从哪个镜头学。
Poor victim to bully all morning. But will this make me feel better about my violent father?
Excuse me, I'm late for maths. It's my favourite subject. And so important.
Maths is for losers.
What?
Maths is for losers.
My arm's stuck, coach.
Just keep going for fuck's sake.
Right. Maths is for losers. Now, give me your lunch money.
Double lunch for me today, but why am I only truly happy when I'm eating?
Not today, Gary the Fist.
What do you mean not today? Who are you? Oh, my arm's free, coach.
Brilliant, keep going.
Who are you to stand up to me? I Gary the Fist, and you're just a sad little girl with 2 gay dads who's all alone.
That's where you're wrong, Gary the Fist. These are my 2 new friends. Vanessa is captain of the netball team. Yeah. And Blake owns a motorbike.
Yeah.
But
哎，好像切3比较好。
I can't fight all 3 of you, and I don't have any friends of my own. 这到底在干嘛？
Take a look at me. Take a little look at my face. I could be you. She could be you. And you could be me.
Or you could be me.
Life can be peachy keen if you work as a team.
It's my choice to remain. So stop now, make a different choice.
Listen to that inner voice.
到底要切哪一个？
Enough, I won't take no crap. Who said middle class girls can't rap? I ain't afraid of your cruel laugh. I'm a mother loving rebel, but I still love math.
我真的不知道切哪一个，镜头没有一个好的。
Hey, kids, I'm Gary the Fist. People think that folks like me probably shouldn't exist, but that's just prejudice, and I'd do better if you knew the way that I became Gary the Fist. I grew up on a council estate. The park was hip, but the flats weren't great. My dad used to come home drunk and late, and he'd hit my mum for dinner. He had to wait. Where's my dinner?
It's not ready.
Where's my dinner, woman? Don't make me ask you again.
Hitting women.
要切哪一个？
I guess life's pretty hard on a council estate. 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 It's so damn hard on a council estate.
Life can be peachy keen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you work as a team.
Just work as a team.
It's your choice to be me.
It's my choice.
错了。
Stop now. Make a different choice. Listen to that inner voice. Friendship.
Well, thankfully that's all we have time for tonight on the National Nightly News. Join us tomorrow night for all the headlines from across the country. My name's Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
And we're out.
This is Crazy Neil's Festive Yuletide Ornament Spectacular.
他们在说的到底是什么东西？那是一种艺术。
We want to give you a spectacular Christmas cactus.
友谊，合唱友谊。
Christmas bombers. Then we've got the ornaments for you. You
不是，我刚才都不知道怎么切。特价这是要干嘛？买这个，哦，这个好了。哎呦，他有升级我的装备。我应该存钱的，不应该买那些其他东西。升级吧，应该是升级要先那个。我是看到有点傻眼。深夜。这个事件不知道到底想要代表什么，因为天数就降很快了。紧张的圣诞节。56。继续。意外的收获。但是天数其实意义不明，同意书，所以我是一个事件，然后我才去这个上班这样嘛。这边有点像在文字游戏。 但是这边跟那个就是我刚刚玩的那些就是广播好像没什么感觉，有点微妙就是该怎么讲啊？好像有点太突兀了，就是2个系统，然后硬把它挤成在一起，这样的感觉。因为他一开始宣传的是那个应该是说他的实地宣传确实都是主打那个播放器那一块，可是怎么感觉最后变成在玩文字类型游戏这样，然后就是突然又带到这边，又觉得很奇怪，就是有点连贯不起来。虽然他的广播就是还蛮有趣的，但是这一边就有点整个怪怪的。
Good evening, Alex. It's Bozeman here, your boss. While you're powering up and getting the adverts loaded, I thought I should just tell you that we've had one of those public information films from the government, and it's mandatory that you play it. You still have a free choice for the other 2, so read those tape labels carefully, but make sure you play the advanced advert, preferably in the second frame. Right, that's the lot. Have a great show, Total Pimp.
这是被那个要求的。
How's it going with Steve?
Why are all men such pricks?
Yeah, well,
apparently he has a complicated relationship with his friend.
A touching and relevant tale of a 13-year-old girl from a modern family trying to adapt to the horrors of life in the old school system. It's another chance to view the sports board final at 11:45 before the weather and close down at midnight. But first, it's time for the National Nightly News with Jeremy Donaldson and Megan Wolf.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolf. Our main stories tonight.
Uncooperative. A mysterious symbol has appeared overnight on thousands of buildings throughout the capital.
Tonight, in an exclusive live interview with Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement, I'll be asking what this mysterious symbol might mean.
好像选错了，应该是右边那一个吧？这个好假。
And what would that mean as we go into the future?
We shall overcome. Trapped in Dante's taint for more than a month now, doctors Ingrid Svorsborg and Horgensvoord and David Wong announced today that they're considering 2 possible options.
With 2 of the finest minds in science working together, hopes
for
the eventual return of the team to dry land.
Without enough engineers to successfully fix their craft, the team seem likely to attempt to farm the cavern's ecosystem while they wait for rescue from above ground. I think I'll stick to risotto, Jeremy.
Bearing their opinions, the formerly rich are fighting back with a naked protest.
Our very own Robin Short was on hand earlier today when this new protest group first presented themselves.
It might seem amusing to us, but clearly this formerly overprivileged section of our society is not adjusting well to the new future. It's often too easy to forget that not every citizen is thriving under advance.
Table for 2. Johnny Hamsleeves and Tiffany Lamour were spotted having a private moment out at lunch today.
The popular couple have certainly been on a roller coaster since they started dating late last year, and this image is sure to place them firmly back in the tabloids.
Could we be on the verge of the biggest celebrity wedding since professional wrestler Randy Grizzlenuts McFridge married his longtime tag team partner Tina Tiny Hands last year in a wrestling ring made entirely of cake?
Is this once celebrated role model about to become the bad boy of sport?
And onwards and upwards. In an attempt to put the Mr. Snugglehugs disaster behind
他2个人那个要这样切来切去，就变得比较需要专注的看到底谁在讲话吧。一个人比较轻松。
Came as quite a shock when it was revealed earlier today, though its critics are skeptical that the young CEO can fulfill her promises.
Described as a breakthrough far ahead of its time, the male contraceptive pill is heralding a sexual revolution. Its fans are celebrating the fact that men can finally take equal responsibility for contraception, but others have expressed concerns over its safety and side effects.
With that exclusive prime ministerial interview coming up later.
And our very own coming to you live from the first annual Sports Board final.
You won't want to miss a second of tonight's National Nightly News.
哎呦，我顺序切错了。等一等，哎呦血！
First tonight,
哎
after the
哎靠！
Christmas horror caused by Mr.
顺序记错
we
了。
have an exclusive interview with one of the victims.
Poor 7-year-old Timmy Tadlock, like so many of those affected by the Christmas bloodbath, has spent the last 3 months undergoing a series of reconstructive facial surgeries.
Last week, joyfully, he spoke for the first time since the tragedy. Tonight, he talks to us.
Before we go to the interview, however, this station would like to issue a full and frank apology for any part we may have played in the tragedy. We should never have advertised Mr. Snugglehugs. Without our publicity, the sheer scale of this tragedy, and now upwards of 8,000 casualties, might have been averted.
On behalf of the Nightly News team, we're sorry.
In future, we will do better.
Now it's over to Robin Short at the Tadlock family home. Robin?
Thank you, Megan. I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Tadlock and their 7-year-old son, Timothy. Thanks for spending time with us today.
Yes, well, you're bloody lucky we're spending any time with you at all. Not what you lot did. Irresponsible. I mean, whose idea was this anyway?
It's your fault. As you can see, Megan, there's still a few open wounds here. I'll tread carefully. I'm going to speak to Timmy now. Hello, Timmy. Can you see me?
Mummy, who's that lady? It's the lady from television, Timothy. She's going to ask you a few questions.
You be careful now, it upsets him to remember.
Don't worry, Mr. Tadlock. I wasn't the youngest ever editor of the Swinstead Middle School Inquirer for no reason. So, Timmy, can you tell us what happened to you? You had just unwrapped Mr. Snugglehugs.
是因为我放了那个广告，导致他这样子吗？
He smelled like love.
Ah, yes, that'll be the fur. It's scented with hoof.
I was so excited. I ran up to my room and gave him a big hug. He was so soft and warm, like our cat, before he got in the way of Daddy's Porsche.
And what did Mr. Snugglehugs say to you?
He blinked his real action eyes and said, "You're my very best friend." But I sure wish Mrs. Snugglehugs was here, and she can't be, for just $89.99. And then it's the general error. 41.
And is that when he burst into flames? And then he exploded.
爆炸，那个娃娃就爆炸，是吗
And am I right in saying that one of his real action eyes is now permanently embedded in your cheek?
Yes. When I took him in at night, it glows through bandages. I know it's under there. Staring at me.
Yeah, some of the others.
我在看他们其他人在干嘛。
and with his glasses, that's right.
It's too many eyes, Robin.
And what's the last thing you remember before the darkness overtook you?
我好奇他们在干嘛。
With his one eye and laughed as he burned.
It sounds very traumatic. Do you have nightmares?
All right, that's quite enough of
Timmy?
you two coming in here with your camera, trying to make a buck and a last supper. I have it.
Mr. Tadlock, just a couple more questions. Timmy, do you think you will ever be what we can call
you've had your
normal
questions.
again?
And now you. Oh, you've made him cry with all 3 of his eyes.
Do you think your parents will ever really love you again?
现场要失控啊！
Mr. Tadlock.
哎靠，为什么那边会有凸起来的？
So there you have it, Megan. Just one of the many
Ah,
victims of an indescribable tragedy that has shaken our Back to you.
Thank you, Robin. Harrowing stuff.
And many questions to be answered by Sophia Rillington in the coming days and months, I'd wager. How will she turn this crisis around?
So, Jeremy, what are the warning signs consumers should look out for when they're spotting a dangerous toy?
Well, Megan, experts advise to always check for the new advance mark, which guarantee a level of safety and quality.
Yeah, can we just get a close-up on camera 3 here? So if we take a look at this National Nightly News mug, you should see the mark just on the base of it there.
In the wake of the scandal, the government were praised for their swift response in bringing in this set of stringent checks and new products.
It certainly is good to know that someone's watching out for our families. When we come back, our very own Patrick Bannon will be live from the Sports Board Finals. Stick around, you won't want to miss it.
We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back.
那集
Are you worried about being a burden on your children?
他水喝太多了啊
Painful decline in your final years, or being trapped in your own body as it slowly wastes away, or losing your grip on reality. Well, it doesn't have to be that way.
那可以选择重玩呢，没关系啊，就继续吧。
Protesters might try and spoil the sports board final by waving their fleshy bits about. Try and make sure you don't broadcast it. 6 p.m. for God's sake.
哎，我刚刚买的东西在哪里啊？
Glass kitchens,
好像没有。
boards in our beautiful gardens. And when it's time, at the end of your stay,
也还蛮累的，因为要同时看好几个，眼睛要看好几个点。如果顾这又要顾这，太可怕了。
isn't that what we all deserve at the end of a
我刚刚是没留意到，是我放在最下，就是下面这边没想到后面还会凸起来，那才是我吓到了。我想说，
aftercare team will help your dependents through the grieving process, ensuring your final wishes are carried out efficiently and compassionately, all absolutely free. Your health service, your team.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. I'm Anna Wolf. Coming up later, we'll be speaking to the Prime Ministers about their exciting new healthcare facilities, transition centres.
Nice to see they care.
You're absolutely right, Jeremy. But first, we're going now to our own Patrick Bannon, who's reporting live from the finals of the new game that's gripping the nation, Sports Board. Patrick?
That's right, Megan. You join me live here for the final of the first annual Sports Board Championship. It's been a hotly contested competition so far. I think it's fair to say these two have been dancing around each other.
错了。
First up, we have Eddie Striker. She's the more experienced of our two players today. Striker has got an accuracy of 7, a danger rating of K, and a 12-month driving ban. Striker's known for her signature move, the Orangi Hamster. And facing her tonight, hoping to prove himself with a career record of 12 outs, 14 finishes, and a divorce pending, is Mr. Wingspan himself, Tommy, the Fingernail Harris. Just waiting on the ref now. The slapping
他们在打裁判干嘛？他们白痴哦。
Still going on. And Striker, of course, first to start as she won the trivia round earlier on by some margin. Harris, perhaps the brawn and not the brains. Stupid. Eddie Striker. Nice start there from Striker. She's determined not to let the nerves.
他们是在玩什么？
Not after last time. On to Mr. Harris now. Tommy. Using his arm to pick up the ball. Not a bad shot there from
这投球有这么难的？
Back to Striker for shot number 3. All right. She's gone to sort of throwing it under her legs.
切错了。
Bit of business with the ref, but it got sorted out. Back to Harris now. A ball in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. I'd say that's fair, but what do I know? Oh no, and Harris is not going to be happy with that. So really not a good start there from Tommy Harris in round 1. We can only hope that round 2 treats him a bit better. But first, of course, after the argument with the ref section, it's time to change ends. Now we have the ceremonial changing of the ends. And of course now they go back to the starting positions, as that makes sense. Striker giving it large. We're into round 2 now with Harris. Okay, we seem to have some sort of streaker on the pitch.
自动打马赛克。啊？为什么？我要闪他是不是？
They're trying to carry on play, but it's proving to be difficult, and I'm struggling to follow because it's quite an eyesore. And women's body, yeah. All right, great. Okay, so back into round 2 now, and Harris absolutely determined to close that massive gap. Eddie Striker. know, it's just some of the tightest play I've seen ever.
所以那个我要闪掉哦。
Harris. And was that offensive double screw? We haven't seen that since the heats. What a brilliant move.
我实在不知道他是要签什么。
And we know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. That is, of course, the ground sound. Excellent bit of play here on both sides of the bucket. I don't know about you at home, but I'm finding the technical mastery of this play here absolutely blooming jaw-dropping. The ref has spotted something in Harris's neck or head. And Harris is having an absolute shocker. What a miserable start there for Tommy Harris. But he is a late bloomer, of course, I've always said that. And after all, it is a game of two halves, 4 rounds and several subgenres. But now, of course, it's time for the half-time show. Sponsored by Remington's Fist. Must be some music here to start the half-time show. Okay, another posh protester loose on the court here. We can only apologise for that. Do our best to shield you from having to look directly at it. Is running around here with his genitals on display for all to see.
所以我要避开他，这是我学会的。
Now he's thrusting himself in Harris's face. Security's on it, and the bucket is knocked over. I cannot stand it when the bucket gets knocked over. Hopefully he'll get taken out now.
不行，我找不到一个可以正常播的。
Really, if you ask me, not Sunday morning television. And out of there, hopefully taken away, never to be seen again.
到底在干嘛？
And a lovely finish there on both sides of the bucket. I wouldn't like to call that one. And as we head into round 3, I'd love to know what's going on in these two players' heads. But unfortunately, because of science, we can't. Not bad. Well, that ball boy's giving me the eye all day. What's going on there? Striker there, not a great start. She looks a bit flustered, I think, after all that swinging around. Back to Harris here. God, what I wouldn't give to be that ball. Am I right, ladies? Tommy Harris. And it dribbled down his arm, which is actually a really good move, because, of course, if it dribbles down his arm and goes on the floor, it's not going in the bucket. Back to striker. And striker's gone for the animal bonus there, but, of course, perhaps... Yes, Harris has counted with a tiny bell. That is wonderful play. Of course, we've seen that before. Look at her face. She is absolutely gutted. What a mug. That could have been the clincher. What a massive shame. Harris to serve now. Harris, of course, undefeated by Kestrel in his last 4 battles. Here we go. Tommy Harris. That's all right. Not bad there. He threw it quite far away from him, which is quite a good idea. Very clever there. Perhaps a little contact. Caution from the referee, who's being, if you ask me, a little bit harsh. Ellie Striker. And she's let the nerves get to her. What the hell was that? You hate to see it, don't you? You cannot believe it. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, like, I mean, this is a mess now. I don't know what I can be doing with this.
又来，
I mean,
这是
sort
什么？
of breasts and genitals for all to see. I mean, there's only so much you can do. They're sort of everywhere, aren't they? I'll try and carry on. The players are trying to carry on, but of course it's difficult because these protesters hopefully we can get them taken off soon so we can carry on with the match. What's going on here? Yes, yes.
We want our money.
Yes, very good. Take them away. Bloody wasters. Absolute wasters.
到底要哪一个画面啊？那根本就是一个灾难吧。
It's an absolute bloody... Okay, and now we're going to go into the final round. And of course, as it's a Tuesday, the final round is a mime round. Who could believe it? Nice imaginary shot there from Harris. He really could go in there at this point. Really high-level play here from two absolute juggernauts of the sport. The bucket getting moved back to its proper place. About time, if you ask me. She's juggling it around from her hands. Interesting. and she's put it in her mouth like as if it was an egg, and now she's spat it out. She did the egg spit. So a wonderful move there, quite late on, from Striker. But she's in it to win it. On it, like a car bonnet. Tommy Harris here, having a bit of beef. And he's peeling it as if it were a banana, which is an interesting move. Not sure if he has any.
这到底在种啥？
And he's throwing it. And the banana was the ball. What a fantastic move there from Harris. Unfortunately, that is the end. What a pathetic. There we go, Jeremy. That is over. How can he look his 8-year-old son in the face tonight? What a lump. We just have to wait for the referee now to announce it to make sure it is all official. In, please.
And the winner of the first annual Sports Board Championship is everyone!
Okay, the ref has agreed once again.
这是什么？
Including me as my 15th win in Sports Board Championship. I'm going to be celebrating tonight with my wife and children. Another wonderful victory for me. Here come young champions to collect their medals. And thanks again for watching the Sports Board Championships.
这种东西
Looking forward to celebrating tonight. And all I always have to say, Jeremy, is
炸裂了。
Patrick Bannon there had an extraordinary final.
Historic sports board, Jeremy.
I didn't know you were a fan.
Yeah, I can wrench a doubler with the best of them, I'll have you know.
I certainly wouldn't bet against you.
When we come back, I'll be talking live with Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement, who apparently have a big announcement you wouldn't want to miss.
That's coming up after these messages.
1 minute back.
Fucking microphones.
为什么会突然电到啊？这个是要怎么办？
Start collecting today and celebrate the nation's most well-known and best-loved pieces of hardware with your copy of The Joy of Screws. Every week, you'll add another
Boozman again. Just heard from the chaps in maintenance that this storm is causing the odd power surge. Some of your controls.
你的一些控制可能额外危险。
Now I know you're tough and you can take the odd shot for the sake of a perfect news broadcast, but too many in quick succession can stop the old ticker. I'm sure you'll make the right decision.
还有这样的哦。
You'll get this in-depth companion magazine, charting the highs and lows.
全部都在电呢。
To the socket screw rise of 29. This detailed guide will bring to life some of your favourite metalworking moments.
要被电死了。
Send you the first 8 editions with no postage or packing. That's right, no postage, no packing. Plus, you'll also receive this exclusive little bit of drill bit absolutely free. So, what are you waiting for? Start collecting today. With week 10, you'll receive.
为什么会有一个筒子？
The Joy of Screws, the only complete collection of real, authentic, genuine reproduction screw replicas. Collection is for display purposes only. The items are ornamental replicas and not for use with wood, metal, masonry, or any other physical surface. Terms and conditions apply. See issue 42 details.
Welcome back. I am delighted to be joined by Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement. Welcome to the National Nightly News, Prime Ministers.
Oh, please, it's just Julia and Peter.
We don't believe much in times. It doesn't seem very advanced.
We're delighted to be here.
靠，这个炸成这样，我要怎么？
Graffiti that's been springing up across the capital. Should we be worried?
Oh, no, you definitely shouldn't be worried.
Well, not unless you've got a fatal paint allergy anyway.
But yes, it does seem that there are still some people we haven't been able to help.
You know, whingers mostly.
People who've yet to benefit from the many advantages of the new future.
And you know, Megan, as my old mum used to say, there are some pissants who just don't know how to be happy.
We're working hard to reach these people, find out what they're angry about and how we can help. The door to my government is always
靠，按太快了。
So much dripping on me.
But we didn't come here to talk about what may yet turn out to be some alternative arts project.
Which we no doubt will have funded.
When we want to talk to the nation about something far more exciting.
Yes, your office briefed us that you have an announcement to make, but they were being surprisingly secretive about it.
Let me ask you a question, Megan.
Oh, okay, it's not usually how it works, but...
What scares you? I mean, really scares you?
Oh.
It's death, Pet. She's talking about death.
We're all afraid of our deaths. It's part of being human.
Sorry, are you saying that Advance have cured death?
That'll be a vote winner. Yep, that was definitely a drop there.
But while we may not have cured death, we hope we found a way to make it much less scary.
And much less painful and much less expensive. Look, which is me close-up camera?
Oh,
there. When I was 13, my mum came and got me from school. He was to go to the hospital. My granddad, he collapsed that morning. So we'd all to say our goodbyes. And I went in to see him. We were all frail and pale. I was scared because I'd only seen him the week before, and he'd been fit as fiddle. And he said to me, Peter, he said, it's the right time. I don't ever want to be a burden to the people I love.
Was that the last time you saw him?
Nope, 3 days later, we were back home. He lived with us for 9 miserable years after that. He had to be fed.
这个被电成这样还可以正常的运行，也蛮厉害的。
Right there in the lounge while we were watching football. He wouldn't even wait till half time.
That sounds.
Oh, it was awful. Awful for us. And this is the point. It were awful for him. He could see it was destroying me, man, watching him slowly fade away. And he would beg her to turn off his breathing equipment at night, but she couldn't. Or she wouldn't. It were a crime, you see. And she didn't want to lose the children, as well as her old man.
No family should have to suffer like Peter's did. And now no family will have to. The health service is today opening the first of 300 new transition centres.
The transition centres will handle everything for your last days. The legal, financial, medical and emotional costs are all catered for and paid for by the government. So even the poorest citizen gets to pass on with dignity when they choose.
And that choice is important.
但其实有点尴尬的是，他当初跟我讲说每个镜头至少就是最多就10秒，可是有时候又是要 focus 一个镜头上，所以我就很纳闷，到底规则是什么？因为有时候超过10秒会被扣。靠！
I don't know. I think it from my asshole.
Oh, we're still on the air, Peter.
Oh, yes. Sorry. My apologies. All.
Are you not worried that this new system might be open to abuse?
In what way?
Sorry. I've got sacked again. Can I get a little bit of help here, please?
That the older generation might feel somewhat.
Jesus, a raw shell face, fucker. That one was massive. Right, no. This bastard's coming off.
Sorry, the older generation might feel somewhat coerced.
Coerced into spending their final days eating gourmet food and drinking fine wine and luxury spas and gardens.
这一个小失误就被扣到死。
Prime Minister, please watch your language.
Go get yourself sorted out.
Right.
We're launching a government information film tonight. It should tell your viewers everything they need to know.
You really do move at a breathless pace. It's hard to believe you've
We're only getting started.
I want to thank you so much for being here. Jeremy.
Yes, that's all we have time for tonight. Our thank yous go out to our guests. Congratulations to all the winners at the Sports Board final. And we'll see you tomorrow night at the same time. My name's Jeremy Donaldson. If you can, have a peaceful night.
Good job, everybody.
有问条哎，他这个被炸烂了，我失去意识了。
It's my nephew, so we transitioned along
我来不及调音量，真的是 GG 吗？他一直狂电我，到底是怎样？这有那么夸张哦？电晕，你知？天数？问号？封城？这啊？
Okay? Alex,
怎么突然变成像是末日了？往左边看，真的什么鬼？这是什么鬼？怎么突然变成？到底在玩什么？ 到底发生什么事？
This has no credibility, Jenny. No professionalism. It's not a mess. Everything is where it should be. It's ramshackle and characterful, and I expect you to know the difference. Of course, Megan's place looked lovely, but I can't see it, can I?
Thanks, Jenny. How's lock-in with the boyfriend going?
隔离怎么样
Chances on the wild streets, eh? Rather than endure another romantic comedy.
Jeremy, Jenny says your hair looks stupid.
Yes, I can hear her.
And she says she's not talking to you.
Yes, I know, I can hear
哎，为什么右边的跟那
Hands
个？
in.
Make it so.
Okay, 10 seconds. Break a leg, everyone.
Preferably a furry one.
5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. Our main stories tonight.
Snugglefuck? It's been almost 5 weeks since all the Mrs. Snugglehug's toys woke up simultaneously.
哦，原来那个娃娃变成是一个恐怖的，就是脏逼的概念。
We had so short-sightedly destroyed. And now, as this photograph suggests, they may be changing tactics.
Built to surprisingly traditional gender stereotypes, the Mrs. Snugglehugs have been arming themselves with a variety of household implements. All the more reason to make sure that cat flap is taped up good and tight.
This frighteningly developed
is so-
thought to be relatively safe, like the young and fit, must take care to watch their backs and keep their ears open for the soft steps of sinister feet.
Going stir crazy, with no signs of Mrs. Snugglehugs.
封城第31天
And the government lockdown now in its 31st day. Domestic relationships across the country are taking some unexpected turns.
Dramatic reports are beginning to emerge of uncharacteristically bold behavior in homes across the country. And we're not talking about the model planes that occupy so much time in the Donaldson household.
In response to a nationwide lack of toilet paper, which was of course raided by the Mrs. Snugglehugs to construct their vast hives, many of the nation's adults have turned to a more childish solution.
Alex, they're on the tower.
Excuse.
Going on alone, popular crustacean Johnny Hamsleeves is back in the news today.
Oh,
This
come on.
astonishing photograph that he linked himself shows exactly how he's been spending his lockdown.
我也就用这个
That when the
可
lockdown
能
was
是
announced, Johnny's long-term partner, Tiffany Lamour, was busy in the capital preparing her new show, Chocolate Clit Bombs, for its now postponed grand opening. Let's hope the exhibits don't melt.
It's great to see a celebrity using their time wisely, as the government suggests, by developing a new hobby or fetish. And most
这
importantly,
样我一直往左边看呢、它爬起来的时候很麻烦。
little bit.
The shape of things to come? In their own version of a lockdown for more than 45 years now, the descendants of Doctors David Wong and Ingrid Svorsborg-Horgensvoord and their unfortunate team today managed to get a personal statement to the surface using flagellized imagery.
Many of the Svorsborg and Horgans brood, as they've come to be known, have certainly captured the part
这也太忙了吧！我只是一个转播，还要打这个。
Horgensvoord, the most likely to survive a massive electric shock.
哦，所以那个电流的原因是因为他们的造成的吗？
We've been down here so long now, and you never communicate. What's happening up there?
他现在变弟弟了。
Fucked off into space.
哎靠！
Ladies, or just a
要被攻击了！变。
harvest time again, like it is every third Wednesday, but harvest's not what it was.
好忙哦。
Mum and Dad must have missed them when they first got down here all those years ago and totally effed up my life.
怎么发生什么事？我什么都没看到。
Kids' toys apparently. Mr. Snufflehogs or something. Helvetica's trying to get them switched on. Apparently there's still life in the batteries even after 30 years. Toys are amazing.
那好像不用充那么满，不知道充要充多少。
But as everyone knows, time moves differently underwater, Jeremy. That's why goldfish are so stupid.
That's right.
可以不用充太满。
The thicker the goldfish.
There's no denying the logic of that.
Class war, a worrying turn today for the formerly rich as ever more punishing measures are announced, Alex.
With the country becoming ever more hostile to the previously wealthy, those who manage to skip the country must be very grateful to the people who help them right now.
We have it from several sources that rich runaways have actually begun to spontaneously lose their teeth.
他们说牙齿开始
Is
脱
it
落
some。sort of cosmic justice, or has masked vigilante dental Dennis been up to his old tricks again? It could be both, Jeremy.
And Advance speaks out. With the snuggle struggle proving a test to governments around the world, Advance HQ released a curious statement this afternoon.
In the accompanying release, they asked us to stress that they have been listening and that this should be taken as a response to how the people really feel.
We've certainly done our bit on this show to contribute to the political climate. But let's not forget.
我都担心我自己这边的安危到底安不安全的。
Let's hope it's not just me who filled out that questionnaire, Jeremy, or we're all in trouble.
Let's play that statement.
Good evening. One of the many new jobs I have in this current crisis is to liaise on a daily basis with the Department of Perambulation, and they have made me aware of these. Now, these are genuine requests from citizens for permission to go outside. Now, I would like to share a few of these with you tonight under the loose heading of what the fuck is wrong with you people? How difficult is this to grasp? I'd like to start with James from Hampton, who says he needs to go out because there's a duck in the
有只小鸭鸭。
I call him Mr. Quackington, and I think we're really starting to bond. No, James, they make their hives.
他意思是说，现在就是禁止外出，有人提出一个说我要去外面喂小鸭鸭，他现在在跟他讲说不行。
No, Katie, stay at home. Your casserole's dire, and Shirley can get by with tins of creamed rice from the 1950s. And you, Louis, from Bamblebury, those screams you heard in the alley last night behind your house are best left to the police. Now, I want to make it as clear as I can. Think first. Stop sending me stupid, sodding requests and stay inside. Pretend it's not happening until we tell you it's all over. Thank you.
Delectable stuff.
Later tonight, Jeremy will be catching up with brave roving reporter Patrick Bannon, while I check in with two friends of the programme who find themselves stranded at opposite ends of the country.
And then, in part 3, there's going to be a quiz. Presumably because there's nothing more important going on that you might like to report on if you were, say, a news programme.
And in a moment, we'll both be asking Sophia Remington how such a trusted brand can have made such a terrible manufacturing mistake.
With what it describes here as help from popular psychic scientist Delia Lyle.
Oh, I like her.
You don't, why do you do that?
That's all coming up on tonight's
National Nightly News.
你开玩笑吗？这是什么奇葩的广告？快打这都打不完了。
First tonight, how did we get here? Where are we going? And most importantly, who's to blame?
Joining us from her ranch in Arlingsfield, Milkirky is the CEO of Remington's Fist, internationally respected business Bengali, Sophia Remington.
Thank you for having me, Megan. I'm a huge fan of your work.
And from a crystal healing laboratory, what I assume is a garage in Upper Lowington, inexplicably renowned psychic scientist, Dr. Delia Lywell. Thank you for being here.
thank you for having us. Sorry, us? Myself and the eminent professors.
Is that what you call the voices in your head?
The voices seem to attract dead scientists. I don't really know why.
The money?
They express themselves to me through ethereal algebra and quadratic predictions. It's all very technical.
No, it isn't.
I concur. Miss Remington, the entire Snugglehugs range will surely go down as the biggest public relations disaster in history, won't it?
Well, of course, that's one world record we would never have sold.
I can't.
What can you say at a time like this?
There is only one thing that can be said. I'm sorry. We're sorry. From everyone here at Remington's Fist, but especially the dedicated inventors and world-beating engineers at Rimming Toys, we are deeply, deeply sorry. Who could have predicted that letting a child's toy learn how to love could have such unforeseen consequences?
Mary Shelley?
Oh, we see you, Sophia Remington. You are preening by a metal vessel, and where you venture, you have seen neither land nor sky.
Is that supposed to be the future? Only the past is concrete. I remember being a child in my grandpa's workshop.
不是吧？还来？
Dancing hangman toy. He put it by my bed, and when I couldn't sleep, I'd wind it up and let it go, and I'd watch that happy little executioner wiggle and wave his tiny noose and dance before my eyes. Grandpa sold thousands of them, on the quiet, obviously. And he used the money he made to found Remington,
我看这个会移动。
which is now just one small part of the global supermassive megacore that is Remington's Fist. Sadly, we lost Grandpappy along the way. He died in a fire at the preschool tobacco factory, another one of his pet projects. But we never lost his spirit of invention.
Yes, I'm not entirely certain what your grandfather's offensive toys have to do with the current predicament.
The spirit of invention.
哎哦，我懂了，他那个绿灯的时候我就要切过去啦，它会有导引哦，我现在才看懂。
To tell you about a brand new product we're launching simultaneously around the world from midnight tonight.
他这边会有，我就要跟着切啦。我原本以为那个绿灯是我的绿灯，我按的才会有。
How does she do it?
Well, please don't keep us in suspense any longer.
Won't be my feature she's making up next.
Remington's Fist is proud to present Snuggle Traps.
不是吧？
Safety and security.
还来。
Each box of Snuggle Traps contains 8 devices, all guaranteed to
烦不烦啊？
That's enough for a small lawn or 4 window boxes. And you want to know the best thing? They're only $129.99 a box. Now that is affordable piece of
顺便推广哎。
We see you, Jeremy Donaldson.
Not now, honey. I'm mid-pitch. The best thing about Snuggle Traps is they're powered by next-generation Flardinium batteries. So, however long the enemy lasts, these traps will outlast them.
We see you, Mr. Donaldson. You are screaming and yelling. Your friends are crying. They fear you. And then you're gone.
你干嘛突然？
I just got chills. Did anyone else just get chills there?
I think I did.
I think it's more concerned. I think I'd be more concerned about these traps. Quickly, before we go
Oh,
to
come.
break, these appear to be attractively repackaged landmines. Are they dangerous, say, to children?
Oh, hell yeah. These are not toys, but they're explosive fun.
Sophia Remington, Dr. Delia Lywell, thank you for joining us.
When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the situation across the country tonight.
Don't go away. We'll be back after these bandages.
哦，我终于有点懂完了。
Crazy Neil's crazy pre-Christmas, extra exciting, festive Yuletide Easter extravaganza. This is another chapter from Crazy Neil's Wit and Wisdom, and I'm reaching out through the lens of
3号机直接下线哎，就是公关活动结束之后。
I've decided to come home. Listen, I'll call you back at the next break and we can talk about how I get me job back. Cheers, Alex. See you, mate.
Hunch look, and that wasn't popular. I used to have a ventriloquist act. I cheated rather.
所以我昏倒之后变成就直接衔接。
And yap like a dog for only $22.99 a month. This is a deal with Neil appeal. As the astronaut once said to me, I had a mission. Sometimes you're the alien, and sometimes you're the cat.
回来。 简单来说，他们开发了一款娃娃是非常厉害的，而且他们的耐用电池还非常的强，所以导致他们异常的时候非常，就是他们出现了可能有点异常的状况，变成脏笔的概念吧，所以反而害了世界陷入了混乱。
Welcome back to the National Night. Now it's time to take a trip around the country to hear how the lockdown might impact the nation from some friendly sources. Joining me are respected academic Katie Brightman and author of Alan James's Kites, Alan James. Thank you for joining me.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Megan.
Thanks, Megan. It really is a pleasure, Katie. I enjoyed our little heated encounter.
I wish I could say the same.
So first off, Katie, how are you coping?
I'm holding up okay. The lockdown directive was so sudden that, like many people, I haven't been able to get home.
Oh no, what happened?
I was staying at a hotel after an international policy convention, and we had a particularly heavy night out. You know what economists are like.
Notoriously hate splitting the bill.
And I overslept, and as you can imagine, I've been here ever since. But there are certainly people much worse off than me.
Exactly. My tour has been cancelled.
这个就是那个上次一直拿输了他们哦，突然想起来。
Even the cheap seats.
Oh, Alan, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. People are being quite rude about it. They don't seem to realise I've already spent it filling the beach house with beach.
The crisis claims yet another victim.
So, this is just a reminder that my book, Alan James's Reich, is now available.
又在推销书了。
You're unbelievable.
So, Katie, how do you think this might affect the economy? Should we be worried?
Very, Megan. Not to sound dramatic, but this could be catastrophic. Unemployment has skyrocketed, and frankly, it will be a miracle if a lot of businesses can survive this.
切错，太早切了。
This latest liberal hoax. That's what they want. They want us quiet. They want us quiet. And they want us inside.
A hoax? How on earth can you say that, Alan?
Well, I haven't actually seen one of these supposed toys. Have you?
Well, no, but...
Did you know 3,000 people die every year from regular toys? That's a lot of people. And this is no different. You're just as likely to be hunted down by a yo-yo or a tennis racket.
He makes an excellent and
啊，干，又按球了。
Don't listen to her, Katie. The press are the enemy of truth.
She's agreeing with you, Alan, you absolute shit.
Well, then I must be wrong.
Alan, are you now recanting your statement that these toys aren't dangerous?
People are saying they're just like normal toys, and that simply isn't true. Corrupt media lies.
Katie, how do you respond to Alan's claims that Mrs. Snugglehugs might be dangerous after all?
I suppose I guess I'm agreeing with him.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate your support. A lot of folks are saying this Mrs. Snugglehug situation will all blow over, but it won't.
Yes, right, exactly. We need decisive action from the government. We need huge financial support to protect our workers and our businesses. We need to support the vulnerable, and we need
to repent. Exactly right, Katie. We brought it on ourselves with all our liberal indulgences like and healthcare. We need to act now and begin sacrificing our firstborns, or at a push of the love of that.
Absolutely, Alan. If we can all successfully come together as a community and perform the ritual, hopefully we will appease the great ancient.
这是什么动作？
Katie, could it be any worse?
Luckily, over the past few years under Advance, they've invested heavily into health, so the system can actually bear the strain.
Is it lucky that the Llama Lords have unleashed a horde of man-made monsters on its own people to conceal the enemy within?
怎么丢过去的？
The Global Alliance of Fish People are amassing an army. Amassing an army to kidnap us.
这真没什么啦。
I don't sound like that.
Yes, you do.
You do, Alan. You do sound like that.
And that's why no one wants to be your friend.
I got loads of
Hey, come.
No, you haven't.
I don't think you do, Alan.
Yeah, stop lying, Alan.
I'm not lying. You are.
Oh, good one.
Well, I'm telling.
Alan, Alan James, Alan Katie Brightman, thank you.
那根本就在隔壁而已啊，怎么可能？
From two of the territory's leading minds. Any moment now, I'll be heading over to Jeremy, who is going to be bringing us an up-to-the-minute report.
2号机是在干嘛？吃东西啊
The nation. Over to you, Jeremy.
Thank you for what I'm sure was a
他原本要吃饭的，结果被动动。
Next, out on the streets, someone who's always doing exactly that. It's Patrick Brannan. Are you there, Patrick?
Hello, Jeremy. Yes, hello. I'm here. I'm here live. Apologies for the quality of the broadcast today. Couldn't find any cameramen or women brave enough to come and join me. So.
哇，天色变晚，下午了。
And can you tell us what it's out there?
Yep, I can. It's as you can see behind me, the streets are currently completely deserted. But my question, Jeremy, is just how long? I mean, could there be danger lurking waiting to end the fledgling career of this young, promising journalist before his full potential is even realised? Will he die, underappreciated by management, and frankly, if you ask me, very, very much underpaid?
I don't think there's any danger of that, Patrick. What's that on your jacket there?
Oh, that's actually a sponge. What I've done here is made a snuggle-proof jacket, Jeremy. The network didn't bother sending me any PPE, so I've been forced to improvise. In fact, showing the sort of resourcefulness that would make me an ideal candidate for, I don't know, for example, an anchor position starting whenever they'd like.
From your point of view, Patrick, just how safe are our streets?
Not safe at all, Jeremy, not safe at all. I'd recommend people staying inside, following government advice, and not putting themselves at any risk at all. Unless, of course, like me, it's for groundbreaking journalism reasons.
Mm-hmm. And just where are you, Patrick?
I'm in the street, on the street.
Which street?
I think I'm struggling to hear you, actually, Jeremy, there.
Which street? Which street are you on?
Oh, which street am I on?
Oh, God.
Oh, God. I'm just looking for a sign. Oh, there it is. I'm on
Bannon Avenue?
Yep.
Bannon Avenue.
Yeah, no, I can hear you fine. Yep, I'm on Bannon Avenue on the sign. It says there.
为什么一个号码牌不是一个地名可以讲这么久？
That is that's strange. That's a weird sign. I don't know what's going on there.
Where are you really?
I'm on Bannon. Alright, fine. I'm not on Bannon Avenue. I'm at home, to be honest. I'm in my bathroom technically, but you know.
结果他的地图是上在厕所，然后后面那是风景画。
We don't expect any less of you, Patrick.
Can you hear that sound?
I can, yes. I'm no expert.
他要被冲进去了。
Unmistakably like a tiny fist tapping on your door there.
Oh fuck, it does. Oh fuck, Jeremy, shit, no. Oh bollocks.
他长笔到了，找到他了。
Tiny fists, each wielding a different gendered household implement, ready to bash in the heads of lying little roving reporters.
No, you're lying, aren't you? Oh shit! Fucking listen to me, you bastards! If you're out there, just to piss off, you little fucking snuggle fucks! I'm too talented to die! Oh, what the?
你干嘛？
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Oh god.
他其实
Don't
其实
worry, Patrick.
我靠北。
I've only got a few seconds before they break their way in there and finish you off.
通常这爆主播真的是上半身是正常，下半身都没穿。
What do you see, Patrick?
他要被吃掉了。
Thank you, Patrick, for that report, showing the nation
他被吃掉了。
just where you belong. It's time for another break, but when we come back, we'll be hoping to take your mind off the world for a little while, and who knows, maybe even bring you a few smiles. Join us after this.
我的太阳怎么变得这么奇怪？笑得那么开心。 我发现我的窗户破了。我还安全吗？我现在还是在正常的世界吗？
Nearest workstation now. Every week you'll receive a high-quality electric current of increasing voltage directly through your body until you lose consciousness. Don't miss this shocking offer.
这一切都是在做梦。完了，我被入侵了。
Absolutely free. That's right, free. Occupational hazards. The only regular threat to
我被入侵了。
and ever present.
Welcome.
这切错，
Well, welcome.
不要吵。
We know isolation isn't easy, so finally tonight we have something a bit different for you. Even though some people find it's not our job to entertain the public with absolute nonsense, other, more important people overrule those people. So it's time to find out who will National Nightly win and who will National Nightly lose. So, how do we play? Well, joining me is a man who knows all about playing. It's Tommy Harris. Hello, Tommy.
All right.
后面，哦。
Good to see you.
And how are you finding the lockdown, Tommy?
What do you mean lockdown?
The enforced isolation of everyone in the country.
Ah, yeah, I think I.
有点恐怖哎。
You're in bed, Tommy.
Yeah, you called during nap time, so.
Of course. That's my
我不知道，我只要把它打掉，它一定会干扰我。
Well, it's pretty simple, Jeremy, you sausage. I'm gonna ask contestants from around the territory 3 questions about what else, yours truly. And those people are gonna get a chance to win a very special prize.
And what are they paying for, Tommy?
Drum roll, please. Jeremy. Thank you.
啊，它会干扰我啦。shit.
It's my athletic support, Jeremy.
Oh.
But I've signed it. So
它会干扰我的所有的仪器。
Have we got anybody waiting to win this once in a lifetime prize, Jimmy?
I believe we have Angie on the line. How do you feel about winning this man's old pants, Angie?
I've never been so excited, Jeremy. And can I just say, I love you. Both of you.
Well, you've said it now, haven't you?
Oh, Angie, I love you in a way. Tell us about yourself, Angie.
Well, what can I say? My name is Angie.
不要乱跑。
I'm a human woman, and my dental hygiene has been described as acceptable.
Brilliant! Right, well, shall we get this shambles underway?
Absolutely, John. Can I get 30 seconds on the clock, please?
We haven't got...
没错。
I did ask for a clock. So.
Well, why don't you start, and I'll stop you when it inevitably becomes unbearable to watch.
打你。
All right, here we go. Time starts. Now. Question 1. When is my birthday?
The 30th of August at 7:19 a.m.
我一直有听到声音。
Correct. Question 2. What? I said, what is my favorite color?
Crushed praline 4.
Correct. The color of my nipples. And finally, Angie dear, what is my star sign?
That's a trick question. You were born outside of the human understanding of the cosmos.
Unbelievable. That is correct. Stop the clock.
Wow, that really was tough to watch.
这是什么奇怪的问题啊
You got every single question right. Which of course means you lose and win absolutely nothing. Thanks for playing, Angie. Bye. Do we have another contestant on the line at Jelly Bean?
We do indeed. We should have Sonia Artleach. Are you there, Sonia?
Of course I am, Jamie, darling.
Thank you for being here, Sonia.
Oh, there you are, Tommy. Mwah.
Let me guess, you went to theatre, don't you?
Is it that obvious? What gave it away? Was it the glamour or poise?
It certainly wasn't your inherent sense of humility.
Tell us about yourself, Sonia.
Oh, well, if you must play this game, I am a theatrical agent. I represent the line.
那他就是会一直搞破坏，一直靠近你。
Lockdown affected you, Sonia.
Well, they may have closed the theatres, shut the studios, and boarded the cinemas, but they won't get me that easily.
How are you
without
any work?
Due to a savvy clause in all of my artist contracts, I am able to claim my 15% from their unemployment benefit.
Wow, that certainly is sharp.
Standard stuff, standard stuff.
And can I ask, where are you speaking to us from?
Well, I work from home, you know, to keep costs down.
And who's this?
Oh, well, you know, when they gave the order, I was actually mid.
4号机有危险。
We've been isolated together.
No fucking way.
What the fucking fuck?
Is that Tommy Harris? I'm a huge fan. Can I just tell you how bloody brilliant you are?
Actually, Jeff, we're about to play a game, aren't we, Tommy?
We've got time, we've got time.
Well, if it's
我真的是忙不下来。
I think I am in love with you, Mr. Harris.
No, it's not bold. That's all right.
Sure.
I'd love to show you some of my stuff. I've been working on some new shit.
Well, at least you're already aware.
During lockdown, we've been workshopping some of Jeff's ideas for much younger children, haven't we?
People still let you know their children, do they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've been developing some shows for younger children.
Well, we'd love to see it, wouldn't we, Gerbil?
Absolutely dying to.
Right, so, what do you kids love?
想骗我？
Timely child support payments from their absent fathers.
Shallow and overproduced musical numbers?
That's right. Animals.
你就到最后我根本完全没在看他们在讲什么啦，我只要变成要打击他而已。
She's turned something off the plug, Alex.
插头。哎。哎。啊靠！等一下，插头是什么？ 但是拔到什么东西，然后我不知道在哪。靠呗！插头是什么？哦是，完了，最后崩了，被他各种搞。哦，鸡鸡，哦，原来他把那个一个关掉了。
Now, Mr. Bear is a tragic figure. Picture this. He's at his lowest ebb.
难度太高了吧
He can't even face his salmon, can he? But then he meets someone that will change his life forever.
后面疯狂猛攻。
It's fucking gripping.
That's right. He meets a wise old octopus who takes him under his wing and says, "No, Mr. Bear, don't be sad. You're not like all the other bears. You have this ambition and these dreams."
Such fucking dreams.
I think I love you, Jeff.
And what you need,
Oh shit.
Mr. Bear, says the octopus, probably doing an 8-armed gesture or something.
What you need to do to find happiness in this crazy old forest is you need to set yourself
太可怕了，这个超级干扰。
It's called Mr. Bear Lowers His Expectations.
Wow, you really have taken yourself to new depths. And what do you want children to take away from this?
Oh, fuck shit, fuck.
What?
I said a more real...
哎靠！
Right, Jamboree.
It's Jeffrey. My name is Jeffrey Donington.
No, stop. How does it end? We need to know how it ends.
Well, all the animals learn a thing or two about inevitable mediocrity.
And Mr. Bear settles down near to his parents' cage, stops trying to make his band happen, and he goes into bear telemarketing.
Becomes a bear maths teacher.
Oh, and we end We end on a big musical number. Oh, there's dancing. It's very repetitive, so it's catchy but not too challenging.
哦，太贱了，一次两只。哦，他把我偷换了。
Why not? The more the merrier, as they say at orgies.
Right, I'll just fill then, shall I? Coming up in a moment, it's the world premiere that nobody
干掉了，他撑不住。
or wanted at all. I can only apologize in advance for what we're all about to endure.
Turn the shitting thing up. Well, there's all sorts of creatures.
这是在冲啥？
Doodle farm, like wise old Mr. Octopus with way too many arms. There's Mr. Pig and Mr. Cow. They're always in good mood.
撑不下去。
They don't know they'll soon be sliced up into food. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your hopes go to turn into despair. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your dreams go to die. Mr. Raccoon, who wants to go to the moon, he'll end up as a bus driver soon. Mr. Porcupine thinks he'll read the news at 9. He'll end up as a janitor who stinks of turpentine. Mr. Tiny Mouse thought he'd own a massive house, ended up in a message where he can't control the louse. Mr. Horse thought he'd go into professional sports, now he's an
就是自己接的那个接的顺的话，会有个康博分数吧。
What's that over there? That's the place your life becomes an endless questionnaire. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your hopes go to die. Lower your expectations. Maybe you could get a job in telecommunications. No matter how you try, you'll never reach the League of Nations. The best you'll get is middle rank in trading operations. So lower your expectations.
这也不对。
You'll never win an Oscar, so there's no congratulations. The future that is coming will not meet specifications, and no amount of visualization will save you from your own deterioration. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's a tramp who thought he'd be a multi-millionaire. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where self-esteem goes to die. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's the disappointment that is
我在抓节奏，但是我也不确定到底怎样才是对的。
What's that over there? That's where your dreams go to die. That's where your dreams go to die. That's where dreams go to die.
Thanks all for what I'm sure is bound to be a conflict of choice.
啊，他又跑出来了。
Let's see how it's really done.
Before we wrap up the news tonight, I just wanted to spend a moment.
它自动黑白哎。
A final thought, if you will, just for you, Alex. You see, I know you think it's gotten complicated back at the old homestead, but there's something you should know. You like to think you got the family rule, the feelings have cooled, and you
我只觉得好莫名其妙。我靠，太多了，太多了！我被夹击了。这是我坚守最后一个堡垒嘛。 偷看。这感觉最后就是一个防守战啊，就是不要让他干扰到就好了。被他搞到了。
That's all we have time for tonight on the National Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow when Jeremy will be wrestling an alpaca and I'll be naked. I'm Megan Wolf. Have a treacle night. What? Are you?
他说拿啤酒给我都干了。
We know times are hard. We know that you're scared. But now, more than ever, even though
这是尿吧
we want you to know it still matters how you look. To the distant divas and isolation ideals,
其实我是在做梦吧？哇，一切都是梦吧？啊？啊，所以是。
Good evening. You know who we are. You've seen our symbols on your walls. We are the Resistance, and it's time you knew the truth.
这应该是第一章。
Advance is lying to you.
How can we help you if we don't know who you are?
More than all of this, he was my laughter, my confidant, my friend.
The elderly are not a burden.
So, Mum's made the decision to unburden us, and now we have the chance to start a family.
Membership card is an ID card, no matter what they tell you.
we are getting reports of, oh God, millions of deaths across the continent.
Doesn't your family deserve a nutritious life?
Understand this. There is something wrong with the food.
No more! I've had enough of this shit!
I'm not afraid.
太有问号了。好啦，那应该是他的第一章吧。因为第二章他是说明年才会再出啊，这个还是一个算是EA的产品。我原本以为单纯就只是一个就是操控那个界面上，然后就是看分数这样，就没想到是一个很奇怪的，有点像是在走恶搞路线的那种感觉，而且。你知道它这样的内容啊，档案下载就已经34G 了，大部分应该都是那个影片档，所以非常的大，超夸张的。 好了，那到时候如果他有出第2集的话，我再继续把它玩下去吧。我只是觉得，要看这个游戏的话，就是用搞笑的心态去看它，可能会比较正常才对。就玩的时候就笑一笑这样而已。好了，今天先开到这吧。好，收台啦，就这样玩。